Welcome back to the John Fredericks Radio Network, and this is a special edition of the John Fredericks Show. We're going to be preempting Chris Saxman today. He's on vacation. He'll be back on Monday. We're going to be live. Don't forget our live election night show. Don't want to miss that. Starting at 5 p.m. We'll be on a rooftop in Washington, D.C., a beautiful location overlooking your nation's capital. Myself, Steve Bannon, Curtis Ellis, your panelists, Mike Watson, Chris Saxman will be with us. Tim Anderson will be on all night starting at 5 p.m., bringing you all the action, the best analysis, and Steve Bannon will be there giving you his insight along with Raheem Kassam, Jack Maxey. We've got a great panel for them. We're going to have a national audience then. You don't want to miss that starting at 5 p.m. Download my free app. Just go, if you have an iPhone, just go to the App Store, put in the John Fredericks Show. And same with Android, just put in the John Fredericks Show, Google Play, download my free app. You're good to go. Don't forget to go to the Virginia Star. This is Vox Populi, voice of the people. For Steve Bannon, phone lines, 888-480-JOHN, 888-480-5646, 888-480-5646. And we're going to be taking your calls until 6 o'clock with Steve Bannon, Raham Kasim, myself, and Jack Maxey. Let's get to Annie, line 2 in Florida. Annie, you're back.
Hi. Oh, my gosh, this is the best thing that's happened to me in 6 months. So I've been a war room impeachment person since day one, so I've been following all along. Grew up in Philly under Law and Order, Frank Rizzo days, and moved to Delaware and spent 25 years there. And it's not till you get involved in Republican politics there that you find out how many dirty secrets Delaware has. And I picked up and left in March during COVID, and I know you guys kept me company the whole 900 and some miles down here.
Wow.
And I feel like I'm breathing. It's like I can put my flag up. All my neighbors have flags out. Went to 2 boat parades, MAGA meetups here. I was hoping for the convention in Jacksonville, but I'm just so darn excited to feel the energy here. It's like it's just off the charts. But Delaware was a really sick place. I worked at county council when Chris Coons was president. The merry-go-round and incestuous politics of people changing jobs, and lieutenant governor, then congressman, then this. And it's so sick. I only lived a mile and a quarter from the Biden, so...
Tell us about what is it about Florida that's different? When you say breathe the air of freedom, right? It's just another state in the United States. What is the difference? Why do you feel free in Florida? Why is there energy down there that you didn't see in Delaware?
Well, here you are free to be who you are, say what you are. People are polite. If they're not 100% behind the president, they don't look at you with cross eyes and want to beat the crap out of you or kick your car. Mm-hmm. Everybody is, if you can't put a yard sign out front, everybody can put flags out. The people at the boat parades, the energy's just off the charts. Everybody knows one another, says hello, we eat, we hang out. I didn't know too many people down here. And I feel like I've found family, you know? Mm-hmm. It's just incredible. And when I went to vote early, I went to go the first day, which was Monday, I guess the 19th, and there were cars decked out to the max. Just decked out. People were smiling. People were happy. And I love the Florida voting system, I have to say. It is just amazing. It's such a breath of fresh air from Delaware.
Annie, do you have a Twitter? By the way, this Annie's call shows you what joining the Trump movement is, right? It's an aspirational lifestyle. This populist nationalist, you love your country, it's patriotic. They're great people, right? And you just have, part of it's just a blast. You're going to meet people that this is kind of following from the Tea Party movement. You just meet the best people. You have great times. You have meetups. Your whole life will change. Have access to people, and one person will lead to another, and you'll just see that it'll change your life. And Annie, it sounds like it's changed your life.
It's a happier place to be a Republican and conservative woman. That's what it is. The opportunities are here for you to be accepted and to grow and to just develop all of the potential of working for the good of the country.
Do you have a Twitter handle?
Well, it's easy. It's if they look up Mountain 17, don't complain. It's 17. It's Mountain 17. So. That's okay.
You go one. You go. Is that 17 just a random number, Annie?
Oh no, it's for a particular reason.
Okay.
But I grew up. My father was a committee man in Philadelphia. I learned from the day. So I love this country more than I love anything in the world.
God bless you, Annie. Thank you for calling.
All right. I hope to see you on the trail.
Annie, thank you.
Thank you. Keep watching and keep pushing out the content. Jack Max is over there tearing up right now.
No, you know what is so great about it is she's expressing what Donald Trump used to say in 2016, one American family, we all bleed red, white, and blue. And here you're seeing that realization, too. I was thinking to myself, here's another promise this guy's kept.
Yeah.
That's right.
Well, I think that anybody...
The conscience.
One thing,
the idea of a family.
Particularly Democrats are... One thing I can tell you, if you go to a meetup, if you go online, if you go into hashtag war and pandemic, if you go into live stream, you'll start your comments, you're going to start meeting people. It will change your life because it's going to give you access to people you never thought you'd meet before. And what I'm proud about this, we got a global show. We got guys calling from the Czech Republic, got people listening in China. So this is about, and I loved what she said, it's about acceptance and growth.
All right, let's get to line 3. We're going to go to line 3 where we have Anthony in New Jersey. Anthony, you're live.
Hi, guys. This is an honor. I was actually just listening on my computer, so it must be a little playback. I'm up here in North New Jersey. I got to say, I've been listening since impeachment and pandemic, and it is my dream to be able to get into the war room to talk to Steve, Jack, Raheem, and now talking to John Fredericks as well. I mean, this is just an incredible experience and opportunity.
Well, we're honored to have you on, sir.
Thank you guys so much for taking my call.
We're honored to have you on.
Steve, I've watched so many of your YouTube videos in the past couple months just to understand everything that's going on. You are an incredible leader for this movement and for a lot of people who are trying to understand the information, figure out what's going on, and be able to communicate that with their fellow citizens and with their neighbors. And go right to my first question. I actually have 2 points to make. One is in regards to information warfare, and the other one is to your question before, why do you like the show, War and Pandemic? First question in regards to information warfare. What's going to be the next phase of this tech censorship saga? Can I sue Facebook, or are we as a movement going to try to take on these social media companies? Can we do a class action lawsuit? Because we need a forcing function to get this changed, and really Congress and our legislators aren't really doing anything.
Okay, perfect. And give me the second part. I'm going to turn to Raheem for the first, but give me the second part. You had an observation on the war and pandemic.
Yes, I do. And so one of the reasons I'd say why I love this show, that I'm going to try to make it and describe it how you often describe different things in the world. There's four legs of the table, I would say, to why war and pandemic is so great. The first is that you actually understand the issues that are going on and how the world works. And I think that comes from your experience at Harvard Business School and working at Goldman Sachs and being in the Navy and such. I mean, I'm a University of Pennsylvania graduate myself. I worked at Wall Street law firms. I worked at a top-tier hedge fund, and now I work for myself now. And I really understand how all that works, and I can see how you do as well, and how it translates into everything else. I mean, from when the whole pandemic started, you were talking about how there's a health crisis that led to the economic crisis, the financial crisis that leads us to everything that we're in now. And that's for regular, average Americans who are listening to your show to understand that it is such a valuable education that people are getting. And the second thing is how to communicate them so we understand it. And you're not. And the third leg is you're not afraid to take on opposing views. I remember right after impeachment when you went on to Bill Maher, and you said you go into the lines then, and it sharpens the sword. And that's what we have to do whenever we're going out and we're having conversations and going to the marketplace of ideas to exchange our views and stuff. And the fourth thing is probably my favorite thing, is that you're relentless. You talk about the spirit animal, you're a honey badger. I love it. It is so great and so refreshing. And it just lays out a map of, what is actually going on in our country and in this world and what's going to happen. Tomorrow's news today.
Listen, Anthony, do you have a Twitter handle?
I do. It is _DeBella.
How you spell that?
_DeBella, Delta Indigo Bravo Echo Lima Alpha.
Perfect. I want to make sure. By the way, what you just said there is the reason we do the show, the reason we put the work in. You are the prototypical person we're trying to reach, right? And we do the show for every day, so we're honored that you called, and thank you very much, and thank you for the comments in the show and the kind words, because it is.
I'm in the live chat every day.
Okay, brother. Well, I appreciate it. I want to turn now to Raheem. Raheem, Anthony's question is, where does you go? We've had hearings. First off, as you know, I love Trump, and I love the Trump movement and what he's done. He did try to, as he always does, he's a very accommodating guy, right? He's always trying to reach out. And I call it playing footsie, but he reached out to the tech guys early on, had them all up there. He tried to say, tell me what your issues are, the H-1B visas, I got that, we're going to work. You're still the driving of innovation. The greatest creation of wealth in the history of the world is Silicon Valley. It's innovation. I was sitting there going, it's not going to work. These guys are oligarchs. They hate you. They're taking the deplorables money, the private equity, the venture capital. These are bad hombres. And now you saw they do the AI. They started grinding out. We don't have the heat online that we had in 2016 because they've used AI, artificial intelligence, to go and block. They've used Google because these guys were thinking day one, we got to stop the Trump movement. The way we're going to stop the Trump movement, it's its interconnectivity. Anthony brings up a great point. Where are we now, and where does this go? We've had Josh Hawley, we've had some firebirds, you had Ted Cruz, you've had your hearings. The Justice Department says, I'm going to do a big antitrust. Is that enough? Because I think that this, Miles Gross said it's the single most powerful weapon in the world, and we're seeing it every day. Raheem Kassan.
Yeah, there's no one of those the things is enough, but there are 5 things here that are getting done at the moment, which I think are going to make the difference, right? Once you strip the Section 230 protections from these organizations, which is to say that they get classed as platforms and not publishers, even though they're taking publishing editorial decisions, then you can actually, if you get rid of the protections that they have as a result of that, then yes, you can see ordinary people or maybe class action suits against these guys. Now look, you're always going to be up against a giant, so that's going to be incredibly difficult. You're going to have some deep pockets and even better lawyers, but that in conjunction with other things such as antitrust, such as competition, such as sanctions in some of these cases for working with the Chinese Communist Party, working with the Iranian regime, giving a mouth for the mullahs in Tehran, and so on and so forth. That can be done from a governmental perspective as well. And then finally, the one thing that the European Union, the European Commission has been good at is actually regulating these guys. And when they overstep the mark in terms of using their monopoly power, the European Commission hits them with big 6, 7, 8-figure fines as a result of this, and that should be going on here as well. You have to make it punitive in an incredibly painful sense for them to discriminate against Americans.
I would go like Section 232, one of these national security. I think Jack Dorsey is a danger to American national security. I would do like Lincoln did during the Civil War, right? If he challenged Trump again or shut down the thing, I'd go arrest him and throw him in jail. I think you got to play smash mouth with these guys. They're out of control. These are multi-$100 billion companies. Each one of these guys is worth $100 million. They don't care. And they think they're stronger than the President of the United States. The reason they're trying to shut down Trump, they're trying to shut down Anthony, New Jersey, and everybody else is called. They don't want to hear it. They got dictatorial power right now over us. All of that in normal times is great. And I used to argue you got to make them public utilities. I think they're driving us to a national crisis where they're going to – you wait till election night. I'm just saying this New York Post situation was small compared to what's going to happen, and we're driving to a crisis, and they're going to shut Trump down. Trump is going to be ahead, as John Fredericks and the rest of Pisa says, at between 10 and 11 o'clock on Tuesday night. Donald Trump's going to have Ohio called in the bag. He's going to be up in Florida big. He's going to be up in game day vote in Pennsylvania big with all the mail-ins not to call. He's going to declare himself reelected. I said, hey, guess what? I'm reelected. He's going to walk in the Oval Office, and he's going to tweet out something, and Jack Dorsey and Facebook are not going to put it up, and the networks are not going to put him on TV. You're going to have One American News. You're going to have Newsmax. You're going to have War Room.
Fox isn't going to do it.
Fox is not going to do it.
They ain't going to do crap.
Murdoch did do the Post, but I think when it comes to that, you're going to have a crisis because, as an earlier caller said, This is not about the free press or the liberal. They're not liberal
Right.
media. That was a fight we had back in the 90s. This is the information warfare department of the globalists.
Right.
Forget Republican and Democrat. Forget progressive and liberal.
Right.
Or right conservative. Forget everything you learned before. It's all very simple. It's globalist versus nationalist.
Right.
Populist nationalist, right? And we have guys on a little bit on the left and farther to the right, and that's what it's about. In the information arm is what we refer to as the mainstream media, and now they've got a weapon. Remember, Guo said, he laid out the 5 weapons of the Chinese Communist Party. And the number one weapon, above nuclear, above biological, above their military force, above their currency, above their economy, number one weapon was social media, right? He says this is how they control the population, right? That and the firewall. And we've had the diaspora sit there and tell us that, hey, you got a bigger firewall here. We thought you guys were free. You guys are pushing
Right.
this democracy thing. You've got a bigger firewall here. Where's the Biden stuff? Biden's clearly on the payroll of the Chinese Communist Party. You can't even hear about it. So, Anthony, I think listen, I know I take extreme positions sometimes. Part of that is to make sure that we're having a conversation about what is right. But I think that we're heading towards when they have the boldness to shut down Trump, who's the biggest driver of Twitter, right? When they shut him down, and Kayleigh McEnany, they shut down the account of the comms director of the White House, of the commander-in-chief and chief magistrate, the most powerful office in the world. Forget the personality when they do that. And last week, the arrogance, they sat there. I thought they were kind of be arrogant. Yeah, we've lost confidence in the conservatives. And Zuckerberg sitting there going, yeah, some guy in the FBI called me up, says Russian disinformation.
So arrest them.
Lincoln arrested editors all throughout. We would not have the United States
Lincoln
today.
arrested a congressman from Ohio, a sitting congressman. He went into the well because he was part of the North in Ohio, and he wanted
head of the Copperhead.
He wanted to get out of the war. Lincoln went in, had the marshals go in, handcuff him, put him in jail, and then they put him on a train and dumped him in Richmond.
The most ancient liberty we had was habeas corpus, that you had to have a charge against it. This is from English common law, that you couldn't, some baron or somebody just couldn't roll you up. You had that thing. Lincoln suspended habeas corpus for 4 years as a wartime measure. My point, we do not and we cannot stand a violent civil war in this country, but if they force the shutdown after this election, you've got to use every tool at your thing, and that's why I think Jack Dorsey and these guys, there's a documentary coming out about me on Vice on the night before the election, and I say it in there, hey, if these guys think they want to play Smash Mouth, go and use, I think it's Section 230, call a national security issue, boom, you're going to go to the who's gal.
Well, one of the things that you can do here, number one, we have to win this election, because if we don't win it, Joe Biden and the Democrats are going to do nothing to these people. These are their allies.
No, they're going to.
We got to win this first battle.
They're their football offensive
But
line.
a way to get these guys, and you talked about, can we start a class action suit? The state attorney generals in all of those good, fine red states have to start taking this seriously, because if they start bringing actions against it and they get together in a consortium, this is how things get changed. This is when the Department of Justice comes on board, has, say, 20 attorney generals in the same suit, then you get action.
Listen, in the Senate, you got Ted Cruz, you've got Josh Hawley, and I've got Tom Cotton. I've got 2 Harvard law schools, and I've got a Yale law school. I got 3 of the smartest guys in the United States government, and these guys are there every day, and they're hammering them. I would love Hawley and Cotton and Cruz to get together and come up with a plan that's a hammer plan. No more nice. I think we've heard enough from these guys. It's now time for action. You would agree?
And there's a case to be made that everybody has had their civil rights violated because they are suppressing the First Amendment.
Right, your First Amendment.
So when you start suppressing people's civil rights, there's no limit to your liability.
Raheem, is that better than when you're bringing the European Commission on me? Don't you think it means more dramatic action?
Yeah, look, I do, but at the same time, you saw what happened to the CBP official to kicked off Twitter as well earlier this week. Chad Wolf has actually just sent Jack Dorsey a letter saying, right now, I want
Tom Homan, by the way.
They kicked off Mike Morgan.
That's what I'm saying.
Mike Morgan,
Morgan got kicked off.
Didn't they kick off Homan too? Talking about the wall.
Homan got kicked off, but Mike acting director of the Border Patrol. They kicked him off of Twitter.
Yeah.
Acting director.
When you've got the guys working for the mullahs in Iran that are up there, you got Erdogan up there, you got all these dictators up there, right? You got the CCPs up all on Twitter, right? You got Global Times tweeting all day long.
But they kick us out.
They're kicking out of the guy because of the wall.
Well,
All right, I gotta move on. Thank you.
rolling.
Let's get to line number 3. I'm sorry. We're going to go to line number 2. Line number 2, Susan in New York City. Susan, you're live.
Hello to my favorite war room team. I am your most devoted fan, and I'm a convert from liberal Democrat. I'm a lifelong New Yorker.
Wow.
Was raised 10 Blair. Wow. I'm a psychotherapist. I live in Midtown Manhattan. I'd like to be your boots on the ground. I go all over the city, uptown, downtown, east side, west side. I'm out on the street for 2 hours a day. I'm on the phone 8 hours a day with therapy clients. Ask me any questions, darlings. I love you to pieces.
Susan, here's the question I've got. You are the prototypical
yes, I am.
Educated Midtown New Yorker, a fan of the Woody Allen films. What shifted you from being a classic elitist New York liberal to be now a fire-breathing populist nationalist?
I'm fire-breathing. Canceled my New Yorker subscription, sir. Canceled my New York Times.
Even the cartoons couldn't keep
New York Times. I'll go you one better. I even know the real deal about Woody Allen. And for the fans out there, go look at Moses Farrow's blog exonerating the guy. But we digress. I'll tell you, Mr. Bannon, and I wear my green Barber jacket all over the place. I say I won this in honor of Mr. Steve Bannon.
Wow.
Do you ever wash it?
Yeah, you can wash it. You take it to Barber.
See, Steve, you can't wash that, Steve.
Yes.
We're just trying to tell Steve that he can't wash his jacket.
It's not the jacket.
But Susan, when was your moment of clarity? What was it that all of a sudden flipped you from you're the classic Upper East Side?
I love this guy, Mr. Bannon. Mr. Bannon, we can wear our twin Barber jackets to the 21 Club for a lunch date. I'm cute as a button. You wouldn't turn me down.
This is turning into a dating show.
I'm in.
Steve Bannon.
I'm in.
You're gonna have to wait, Susan. He's got about 3 other.
No. We got to give her your text number.
No, I'm the one. Listen, I am so much the one that I speak to my therapy clients with your phraseology. And I say to them, what say you? Can you imagine this?
I have your number, Susan. I have your number.
Jack, can I ask you a question? Just because you're there in New York and you're a psychotherapist, we've seen a lot of issues that have come out from this lockdown, really increase in suicide, depression, all this.
Yes.
As a professional, could you sort of talk to that? Because this is something that's really stressed out a lot of people.
I would love to. I'm a bona fide psychotherapist, extremely well-trained, well-educated. I'm the real deal. And I am busier now than I've been in 20 years of continuous practice.
Wow.
And people are anxious, and they're depressed, and they drink more, and they fight more with their spouses or their kids. And their kids, if they have college-age kids, are having meltdowns, and it's quite critical. And if I can speak to you seriously about what is happening in Midtown Manhattan, the streets are mostly deserted with the exception of lots of poor, disadvantaged, homeless people. I'm a lifelong New Yorker. I don't want to tell you my age. I don't want to deter Steve from asking me out on a date. But in all of my years of being here, there are literally tents set up on 34th Street. There was a tent right here on Park Avenue, near Park Avenue South. Business after business, empty stores we never thought would ever leave are going away. Madison Avenue is empty store after empty store. Raheem often says that New York is a ghost town. People, I'm living it. I'm living it. I was in Macy's today. It's like a bowling alley. You can run a bowling ball down any floor of Macy's. I was over at Madison Square Garden to vote this afternoon. No wait, marched right on in.
Susan,
So,
we've got a bolt, but I want to give you John's. John's going to give you a number. You can. Text
I got her
him.
number.
You got her number.
Yeah.
Okay, fine.
Got
But
my
Susan,
number.
Susan, here's the last thing I want to ask you. Other, well-educated midtown elites that are all this knee-jerk liberalism or progressivism, as
Yes.
they see the same city that you see today, the greatest city in the world that's now a ghost town and a wasteland. Do you know? Are your colleagues, friends, family? Are they starting to open up and maybe have their red pill moment?
Let me answer your question. I'm like a pariah, and I do not speak to any colleague, any neighbor, any friend about what I truly believe, because they are all just brainwashed by mainstream media. It's terrible. They won't listen to reason. On the rare occasions that I've even uttered the name Bobulinski to, what I would think was an intelligent 50-year-old client, I become persona non grata. So the level of ignorance and the spread of the propaganda, it cannot be overstated, sirs. Cannot be overstated. Please call me again. I'd love to speak on your show. I can speak eloquently. I talk to 8 people a day. I'm a very good source of polling and boots on the ground for you all. And God bless you. I'm telling you, I'm addicted to your show. It's on daily. I go as far back as when you were doing War Room Impeachment.
Wow.
Because in those days, I wanted to hear what the enemy was thinking. And since I also have an MBA in finance from NYU.
We're going to have a lot to talk about over our lunch. Okay, Susan in New York,
yeah.
thank you very
Green
much. I
coat.
appreciate it.
All
Thank
right.
you, Susan.
Be well.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, we got to roll. Got a lot of
Okay.
people on hold. We got 23 minutes till we're out.
Let's stick with the ladies.
Well, I know you got a whole bevy.
I'm
of
on a
phone
roll.
numbers.
I'm on a
This
roll
is like
right
a dating.
now.
It's turning
I'm on a roll right
the
now.
Steve Bannon dating show.
She was great, and I thought the most
She's
interesting,
fabulous.
she said she's had more clients as a psychotherapist
Huge.
than she's
20
ever had in her
years.
life. And think about half her clients aren't even in the city right
That's
now.
sad.
But this is also something that's even sadder. I see this all the time. She comes and she's obviously knows in her social group are highly educated people.
Right.
And they are brainwashed. If you try to, in New York, have these conversations,
No, forget it.
you can't do it at the office. People can't do it at business
They
dinners.
can't do it.
It is a reaction of Orange Man bad, and you can't even have a discussion on the policies or anything. And she's absolutely correct. And you're talking about the most well-educated people in our country. That's the problem. And what do? They read the New York Times. They watch CNN and
That's
MSNBC.
it. And MSNBC. All right, we're going to go to line number 4. Line 4, where we have Carlos in Swing State, Pennsylvania. Carlos, thank you for your patience, sir. You're live.
Hey, so Carlos isn't actually my name. It's more of an online pseudonym. I go by Carlos Danger's Laptop on Reddit and Twitter.
Oh, that's
my
good. You got
God.
us, man.
Here you go.
Good.
Go ahead. Go, Carlos Danger on line 3. How you doing, sir?
I'm very good, very good. I just heard a little bit from the last caller. She was in New York and says that people are brainwashed and it's very difficult. And I used to live there, and I can totally agree with that. But I'm calling you guys today about censorship and about disinformation and cybersecurity. So this morning, Raheem liked one of my tweets, and next thing I know, I'm locked out of my account.
So, Carlos,
magic touch.
Carlos, Carlos, are you serious?
I'm 100% serious.
So this is why. Hang on, Carlos. Hang on a second. This is what I'm saying. It's dangerous.
Go for it.
A guy sitting there tweets something. A guy that's on a show that's one of the bigger shows globally that's hit the. Raheem is a co-anchor. Then has his own show. He likes it, and the guy's locked out of account. What did your tweet say?
Oh, I said, who knows what secrets lurk inside my hard drive? Raheem knows.
It's genius.
That's kind of innocent, right? And you get locked out of Twitter.
Listen, this is real. Noah and I the other day were watching. We've been posting these documents, and you'll dump it, and literally you'll get 200, 300 retweets in 5 minutes, and then it will just go up one, back two,
As
up
they're,
three,
as
back
they're
four.
locking it down.
Yeah.
Carlos, have you been a Twitter?
very-
Have you been a Twitter account
Yes.
that they've watched before? They've taken you down before. What's your history on Twitter?
So the handle is Dangerous Laptop. It used to be, my name handle is at Dangerous
Dude,
Laptop.
you're so far ahead
And
of
it
dude.
used to say
Dangerous
and then I
laptop.
said a
Just
couple of years
random.
ago-
Dangerous laptop.
Right.
Carlos
Well,
Danger.
so I said, what did I say? I said, let them eat Tide Pods about some kids. I thought that was clever. Like,
It
let
was
them
clever.
eat cake, but Tide Pods. And my account was banned for that.
Okay.
And at the time,
Carlos, we got to bounce to other callers because
because
we're limited time. But I got a question for you, real quickly.
No worries.
You've heard our discussion today.
Sure.
What do you think? You saw the hearings the other day. Carlos in Pennsylvania. What do you think needs to be done to hold the social media oligarchs accountable?
Oh, he's gone.
First they need to make
Oh,
Jack
he's still
Dorsey
here. Okay.
bathe.
Sorry.
Go ahead.
First
sir.
they need to make Jack Dorsey bathe, I think. Hello?
Yeah, we got it. We got
All right,
it.
we got it.
Wait, what's number 2?
You got it?
Yep.
Well, number 2 is Mark Zuckerberg should get a tan. But after that, I think what do we need serious people to hold them accountable. I mean,
Down with
Congress
Steve.
needs
Take
to
out the
do
handcuffs. That's the only thing. If
Carlos,
that-
thank you very much.
I would
Carlos in
Steve-
Pennsylvania.
Steve, I think you were, I hadn't
No
thought of
problem.
that. I just think you're so spot on. I think if he cuts Trump off,
It's information
you just
war.
you just go
It's
in
hold it.
You handcuff him.
He's commander in chief
Yeah.
of the United States. If you're going to cut me off, it's a national security issue. Go lock him
Yeah,
up.
what
Lock
is-
him up.
Abraham Lincoln did it, and Abraham Lincoln's the most beloved president back of Washington, right? Why not?
What is the crime, though? That's what I want to know. I mean,
National security,
Information.
information, cutting off information,
Yeah. So-
access to the American people.
So the-
I don't know. Lincoln at first didn't have crimes. He thought them up later.
but sadly, that's what Lincoln is most remembered for worst is his suspension of habeas
No,
corpus.
what he's most
That's not
remembered. You
we're
know what?
remembered for.
What he's
Jack, you're
remembered
going
for is
from the
winning.
conscience
He's-
to
yeah, no.
like the liberal naysayer.
No,
we got to move
he's
on.
remembered for victory.
Exactly.
That's right.
Remembered for
Victory.
winning. You don't think if he had locked those guys up? Quick Lincoln story. So you had Judge Tawney, who was the Supreme Court guy, the judge. He's like 90 years old, and John Hay, who became the famous Secretary of State many years later, was the young secretary for Lincoln. And Lincoln, because they couldn't bring the troop trains through Baltimore, I think it took the mayor and the city council of Baltimore when they were going to succeed. Baltimore was going to succeed, so he locked them up. No habeas corpus, locked them up, threw them in jail. And Tawney sent a note to him saying, "If you don't," it sent a note over to the president, to the White House, said, "If you don't release these guys, if you don't declare a crime and have habeas corpus in 48 hours, I'm going to release them." Tells Hay, "Don't write this down. Take it verbally. Go tell Tawney if he releases him, I'm gonna throw him in jail." Right.
Yeah.
It's called a wartime leader.
Right. You
Look,
gotta-
I
just
come
gotta
from
do it.
Richmond, Virginia. We were on the receiving end of a guy,
Yeah,
and
Je-
people say he was a
Je-
dictator. He was,
A lot,
yes,
a lot
he
of
was
people
all
say
that.
that Jefferson Davis didn't act tough enough. All right, we
Yeah,
got
okay,
to
just
move
very
on.
quickly.
I got to
Yeah,
move on.
yeah.
The good news for Carlos is I just retweeted him. The bad news is that means he's going to be locked for another week.
We're going to go to line
asked
one.
for it, Carlos.
Line one, and that is going to be Elaine on line one in Ohio. Elaine, you're live.
Hi, this is such a privilege to be on with you guys. I'm right in the heart of the most Democrat county in Ohio, Mahoning County,
Wow.
and we were deeply, deeply affected by NAFTA. Lordstown, you probably have heard of Lordstown,
Big time.
and the mills
Yep.
are gone. And I can tell you, I've been telling all my friends, I've turned them all onto War Room. We're infiltrating the women in the suburbs because now I'm in the suburbs, and we've even flipped some teachers to R. But what we're seeing, there's a radio channel here. It's the number one talk radio, WKBN, and there's a gentleman, he's the number one host, Ron Verb. used to be diehard Dem. Now he is screaming, do a straight R ticket. And he watched the Bobolinsky interview. He's been pounding it, and really letting people know you are just wasting your time on Biden. Then I've been observing, of course, there's Trump galore. And I told my friends, I said, don't go by what they say, go by what they do. You don't see the Biden signs. It's like zero visibility, sporadic here and there, usually teachers, I hate to say it. But there is a real push for Trump. These people are hardworking people. Jack, we're a very big Polish-Italian community, just the salt of the earth kind of people, and they are fed up with the lies that we've been told. One of the other things, you were wondering about the women in the suburbs, what's going on. I saw a documentary, Shadowgate. Millennial Millie was involved in it. There was a woman on it named Tori who used to work for John Brennan. And I truly believe the concepts that were in that documentary is what's being used on the suburban women, because she said we can manipulate social media in such a way we can even focus in on neighborhood blocks, like literally get it down to even blocks, not just miles.
Elaine, before we got other calls, before we let you go, I got to ask a question. You're in the most democratic of registration in Ohio. What is it specifically that's making working class Democrats attracted to Trump versus the standard stock Democratic candidate like Joe Biden? What is it that is attracting working class Democrats to Trump?
Believe it or not, it's the way he speaks. He's direct. He says what he means, and then he's gone out and done it, even in the midst of unbelievable headwinds. He is a man of his word, and they are appreciating it.
Last question. John Kasich, your governor, has not only said he's not going to vote for Trump, he said he's going to serve in a cabinet for Joe Biden. What do people out there like you think of that?
We want him to move. When he didn't welcome everyone to Cleveland, when Cleveland had the Republican nominating committee, the convention,
in 16,
it was his job to represent all the people of Ohio and welcome that convention to Ohio. When he did not do that, and he even held a competing event down the road from where the convention was in Cleveland. When he did that, he might as well have moved out of Ohio.
Yeah, he's a punk.
Elaine in Ohio, do you have a Twitter handle or are you on social media?
I don't. I hate them. I just hate them for what they've done to our nation. I probably should, because my friends are screaming because of all the information I'm loading them up with. But I'll have to rethink that, because I hate them for what they represent. I think they're destroying our country.
They are. But make sure you get into our live chat or on #WarRoomPandemic. We love you. Thank you very much for calling and appreciate your...
Thank you for being in the fight, Elaine.
Yeah, you're in the fight. Thank you, man.
Elaine's in the
Thank
fight.
you so much.
Let's go to... Thank you, Elaine. Let's go to line number 2, where we have Susan in the great state of Texas. Susan, you're live.
Actually, this is Sarah. I'm in Georgia.
Sarah, I'm sorry. You're live anyway.
That's Susan in Texas.
Oh.
Hey, Sarah in Georgia.
I used to live in Texas.
Sarah in Georgia. I used to live in Roswell. I was there for 20 years.
First off, Sarah, are we going to win? Are we going to win Georgia on Tuesday? Tell us where Georgia stands right now.
So what I'm getting is yes. That's what I'm hearing from everyone. But what I'm hearing from you guys is it's 50-50. So I'm hoping that my friends are right and you're wrong.
No, listen, we want your friends to be right. I'm just telling everybody, you got to run through the tape here. Arizona, Georgia, and North Carolina, don't lean on your shovel. You got to get everybody out.
Lean on the wheel.
Lean on the wheel. This is Georgia. We cannot have a surprise. When I stepped into the campaign in 2016, there was a huge pressure to go to Georgia, and I said, look, we got to take care of Ohio and these basic states, and if Ohio comes, Georgia will come. But Georgia's been an issue for a while. Clearly, Stacey Abrams been a lot of money put down there. People in Georgia, Newt and other guys are feeling good. Look, Georgia's central. If he loses Georgia, he's not going to get a second term. So that's how important. That's how important Georgia is right now.
I hear ya. Hey, I just wanted to say thank you, Steve. You are the reason why I flipped from being a liberal Democrat to now being a Republican. It's just all the lies that, I really believed that you were a white supremacist, right wing, and same with Andrew Breitbart. I did my own research, watched a bunch of documentaries, watched every single movie you ever made, and it's the opposite. So thank you for waking me up. I do have a question for you guys.
Sure.
So one of the reasons why I could never move over to the Republicans was basically the image of, Bible thumping, closed-minded. And now that I'm here, like, no one is like that. No one's a homophobe. No one's a racist. So how do we change the image of
Great
Republicans?
question.
I think we changed your image. We put people like you forward. I think this is, if you listen to this audience's call today, when people say, hey, it's acceptance and growth, right? That's what I'm saying. Get involved in the Trump movement. You're going to meet people you've never thought you would be friends with before. There'll be tremendous experiences. It's just, and I think here's the way we're going to change it, through action, and that action is winning elections and living our beliefs and making policies that work for everybody. Right, regardless of your ethnicity, your religion, your sexual preference, anything. And I think you're seeing it now. You're a liberal Democrat. We've had so many liberal Democrats. That's why I do the show. I keep talking. I come from a Democratic family, right? I'm sure over 50% of the extended Bannon family is going to vote for Biden. But it is this populist nationalist movement is a movement for all Americans, working class and middle class. Listen, the middle class and working class in our nation is the greatest force for good in mankind's history. Whether it's the revolution, whether it's the Civil War, whether it's World War II, whether it's taking down the Iron Curtain, now it's partnering and standing with Lao Beijing, the Chinese we have on here, the Chinese citizens that are trying to get their freedom. You are the greatest force for change in mankind's history. And this is all we have to do is bond together. And I think put forward, and you can see this in the candidates we got. Look at John James in Michigan. Look at some of these candidates we've got.
Great candidates,
amazing candidates. We have to be relentless because the apparatus is against you, and particularly you. You're an apostate. You're the worst thing. That you're a former a liberal Democrat who's now a Trump person. They want to crush you.
Oh, you're like the disciple Paul.
Yeah, you're exactly like the disciple Paul. You don't. They don't want you. You're a nightmare for them. Because if your word gets out, and my point is push her out, because you guys are Susan in New York, Sarah in Georgia. You are the cutting edge of this. People who drank the Kool-Aid, who believed it, and then one day had an awakening. And that awakening is like, hey, everything I was told, I'm well educated, but it's all propaganda. Yep. And now I understand that. And that air of freedom, and you've had your road to Damascus, and you are like Paul, because you guys are converts. Remember, Andrew Breitbart was a progressive Democrat when he came out of Tulane. It was listening to Rush. He was a script driver. He was driving scripts around L.A. It was listening to Rush Limbaugh on because he says the only thing that was entertaining. He says, "Who is this guy? I thought this guy's a right-wing racist." He started listening. It was Rush Limbaugh that changed Andrew Breitbart. So, Sarah, thank you. You have a Twitter handle, Sarah?
I do. SJT at 1359.
Did we get that down? SJT at 135. Okay, Raheem's going to retweet you so that you'll be banned, right? we guarantee you'll be banned. But listen, you are the reason we do this show, and you are the cutting edge of change,
right?
Not just in this country but in the world. So God bless.
Sarah, thank you. Sarah from Georgia,
thanks,
thank
guys.
you.
Thanks,
All right,
ma'am.
we're going to go. We got 8 more minutes. We're going to go to line number 4. That's line 4, where we have Sarah in Ireland. Sarah from Ireland, you're live.
Hi, guys. I'm calling from the motherland.
Hey, hey, Sarah, thank you. By the way, I was married. Wife number 3 was an Irish Hellcat from Limerick, right?
I heard you like wild Irish women.
Boy, well, yeah, I like them. They don't like they kind of. I don't think I'm wearing them too well over time. So, Sarah, what part of Ireland are you calling from? The mother country?
I'm calling from Dublin.
Oh, you love
So you guys are keeping me going through the second full lockdown.
What's happened there? Why did Ireland? Has there been any blowback? Has there been any Irishmen standing up to this and saying we're not going to take this anymore? It's ridiculous. What's going on?
There's been a small amount of kind of nationalist protests which I've attended, but yeah, very small amount. The Irish are so far gone to the left and brainwashed. It's unreal. I don't know what's happened to our little country. I myself used to be one of those brainwashed lefties. Excuse me.
So what was your Sarah? We got a few minutes. What was your moment of clarity when you became? Because I agree with you. I love Ireland. I love the people. Obviously, my family's from there, but it is so far left. It's amazing.
Well, I think what happened with Ireland was our kind of faith got destroyed with all the scandals of the child abuse in the Catholic Church.
Yep.
And even myself, I defected from the church. I got my baptismal cert back and everything over that.
Wow.
But, you know, what I started to see with the left was the intolerance. I thought it was all about equality, but then I started to realize they didn't want to see the other side's point of view. Mm-hmm. You know, a few kind of very influential bloggers in Ireland, very much wanting church and state to be separated in the schools and stuff. But then I was seeing that they were they were kind of using paedophilia as a way to get that done. But then I was seeing they're actually associating with, there was a famous business man here in Ireland who was like completely done for like child pornography and stuff. But they were doing business with him, but then also trying to stop the church. And it kind of just made me think. And I actually think that the whole Trump train has really given me faith again.
Wow.
To be honest with you.
Excellent.
Well, Sarah, thank you.
Yeah, like we're big Trumpers here. So I just had a little question for you.
Sure. Give it to us.
Is there anything on that laptop that is going to help take down the swamp in Ireland? Because I know, like, the Biden's very pally with Enda Kenny, who is a swamp creature that, like, he used to be the Prime Minister of Ireland. He attended Nelson Rockefeller's Global Leadership Program. You know the Clintons and Dennis O'Brien. I don't even have to tell you about that with Digicel over in Haiti, but Dennis O'Brien gets every single government contract in Ireland, you know? He gets the contract and then he sets up the business the next day.
Jack,
we are going to be doing searches on Ireland and Kenny and everything this evening. We just haven't done it. There's 100,000 emails.
Oh, yeah, and there's something just quickly I also wanted to ask you. There's a guy called Ivan Coe, right? He is apparently a Hong Kong businessman, and he's trying to build his own autonomous city in Ireland. So again, I don't know, maybe he's just from Hong Kong, but maybe something to do with the CCP. It's Victoria Harbour Group.
Oh yeah.
And he was originally expecting the Irish government to give him up to 500 square kilometres for free.
Sarah, we got to bounce. You have a Twitter handle?
Yeah, it's Chris Hink Club, CRITHINK Club.
You got that, Jack?
SHIK.
All right, Sarah, thank you.
Sarah,
thank you.
Sarah, thank you so much.
Thanks so much,
Keep
Sarah.
the faith
All right,
in the country.
We got 3 more minutes. We got time for one more caller, and we're going to go to line 2. Let's go to line 2. Last call. Dave in Michigan, another battleground state. Dave, you're live.
Hi, how's it going, Steve? Honored to get on again.
Thanks, brother.
Yeah, I got some news from the Michigan rally in Oakland County.
Oh, perfect. Tell us. What do you got?
20,000 people live, 100,000 watching the video, and Michigan's going to crush Biden.
Wow.
Okay, we got only a minute left because the polling, we had a great guy on today, said it's closing. Debbie Dingell, who knows Michigan better than anybody, and Michael Moore are both on TV all day today telling the liberal left, do not believe the polls. This is like 16. Trump is closing. I mean, Michael Moore lost it, saying these liberal guys in New York City saying he's up to 8 points are missing it. Dave, what do you say? What's going on in Michigan? Is Trump going to win?
Oh, absolutely. No question. Trump's only competition is voter fraud.
Interesting.
Even with the governor there. What the mailing that you have, how many, because first they wanted 2 weeks to get the mail-in. Right now for mail-in votes, how long does the count go for in Michigan right now, sir?
I'm not positive on that. It's past November 3rd.
Yeah, no, it's like
it's
6
at least 3 days.
2 weeks or something.
Do you have a Twitter handle?
Absolutely. Jack knows me. Dave V. V-E-E.
Jack says,
we got it, Dave.
Jack says, Dave, thank you very much. We got to bounce. Thanks for the
We got to
mission.
bounce, but somebody has been on hold here so long. I'm just going to extend it a minute.
Okay, go ahead.
I got to take her.
Go ahead.
Dave, thank you. I got to get to line 1. Let's go to line 1. Final call, I promise. She's been so patient. Joy in Illinois. Joy, you're our last caller on Vox Populi. Close it out, Joy. You're live.
Well, I am so for Trump. I've been for Trump from the beginning. I'm 81.